It's one of the most audacious diamond heists the world has ever seen. It's estimated the thieves got away with up to 200 million in jewels. Now, we've managed to speak to one of the vault's owners who lives in Sudan, where he speaks on camera for the first time. People are saying that this was an inside job.
I don't know how they got the information, but I don't think that would be the case.
But it took more than knowledge. It required a team with diverse skills, from abseiling to specialist drilling.
Well done.
It took ingenuity and brute force. Most of all, the raid on the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company took planning. And I'm about to show you how they pulled it off.
The alarm was raised just after 8 o'clock this weekend's raiders may have escaped with millions more.
The detectives say their priority for now has to be gathering the evidence they'll need to track down the thieves.
The Hatton Garden diamond heist is the crime everyone is talking about. Journalists are hanging round outside, but the police have the building in lockdown.
So everybody's just kind of standing around here waiting for something to happen. I think I'm just going to knock the door, ask them if I can come in and see what they say. I'm just from the BBC making a documentary. Do you know, is there any chance we can get in and have a look around?
No.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not, unless you work in the buildings upstairs.
Right, okay. All right, thanks anyway. We're not getting in the front door. Let's go and have a look around the back.
This is the side entrance where the gang got in. I get talking to a man who works in the building and ask him if I can come in too. He says yes. We're inside.
The place where the gang were captured on CCTV is just right here, because you can see that CCTV camera up there. Now that's the one they didn't disable.
To foil the thieves, Hatton Garden now has its own giant strong room, available to every jewel merchant in the district.
For over 60 years, this underground vault at the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company has been offering local diamond dealers and jewellers a safe place to store their gems.
Constructed at a cost of more than £20,000, a 2-foot wide bomb and burglar-proof door opens up a labyrinth of safes.
Many of the diamond dealers in this area are small businesses and relied on this safe deposit company to store their precious stones. It failed them. Some are not insured and are frightened to speak out. But one dealer has agreed to talk to me anonymously.
What is the effect on small businesses who have lost the contents of a box?
It's devastating. It's because those who don't have insurance, obviously it's their pension, their livelihood.
Do you know people who have been devastated by this?
Yes.
And what kind of state are they in now?
Terrible state. Yeah, but it's not just financial ruin, it's more than that. It's what you've done your whole life has been taken away from you.
So how did the thieves break into a vault claimed to be impenetrable? I want to find out how a professional criminal would start planning this job. I've made contact with a man who'll tell me. His CV makes him more than qualified to know. Noel Razor Smith has committed dozens of armed robberies, which, in his own words, was like an all-out war. With 58 criminal convictions, he spent over 30 years in jail.
Good, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Thanks for meeting me.
I think if you're going to put a job like this together properly, then what you will do is the typical Reservoir Dogs turn out, where you will get people who don't know each other, and therefore if one falls, all can't fall.
How do you know that the person you're bringing in isn't going to talk to the police?
The criminal sort of underworld, if you like, for want of a better word, works on reputation. And if your reputation has even got a stain on it, nobody will talk to you.
Thursday, the 2nd of April at 9:19 p.m. The last person leaves the building for the Easter weekend, but someone is watching. The clock has started ticking on one of the most audacious diamond heists the world has ever seen. One robber appears carrying a large black sack, keeping his head down, obscuring his face from the camera. About 10 minutes later, they bring in the tools that'll be used to tackle each obstacle between them and the diamonds in the safe deposit boxes. The first challenge is how to get to the vault, which is located in the basement of the building. There's a security door on the ground floor, which prevents access to the stairs leading down to the vault. But the robbers have crucial information about the inner workings of this building. They know there's a lift shaft that goes all the way to the basement. But as part of the security for the vault, the lift itself doesn't go down that far. The gang has worked out that if they can climb down the lift shaft, they can bypass the security, preventing access to the basement. To do that, they first need to disable the lift. I want to find out just how that's done.
I only have two phobias: heights and enclosed spaces, so I'm not looking forward to this. Gary, Declan, hi, nice to meet you.
Gary Kennedy is a lift engineer.
Disabling a lift, making sure that it doesn't move so you can abseil. Is it hard?
Ultimately, this key can gain you access into the lift shaft.
Let's have a look at that. So, this is a key that you can manipulate where the lift is with this?
Yes, and using the key, rotate. We've broken the mechanical and electrical contact.
So that's stopped, it's not going anywhere?
No.
For Gary, it's easy. Meet Tom and Ian. They're going to teach me how to abseil down a lift shaft.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I wouldn't even get on a stepladder to change a light bulb, so I'm absolutely bricking it. So you're going to send the lift up here, yeah?
Just like the robbers did, Gary moves the lift above us so that we have access to the shaft below.
Like that.
I've got them rigged so that they're releasable. I'm not sure that you're not going to grip up with fear, and if you do, I can just release you down to the bottom and pull you out of the bottom.
So what do I do?
Come and sit on the edge.
This is totally ridiculous.
Lift yourself up and then sit down onto your harness.
Oh my god.
I'm sure everyone else who does it more relaxed than this, but
Up to 6 robbers came down the lift shaft this way, with all their tools.
Now, the gang would have had to do exactly what I'm about to do now. Climb up maybe 1.5 meters and get this thing open. Now, see this roller here? That's what locks the lift door from the inside. So you just got to push this up. And that is how you open a locked lift door from the inside. But don't forget, the basement door to the vault was probably bolted or screwed shut. So they probably had to have cutting equipment in the shaft with them.
Police photos show how the robbers then forced open this security door from inside the lift shaft and then cut the bars on the last door leading to the vault. So they'd made it this far. They were in the basement corridor outside the vault, just one step away from the boxes. On the streets above, no one was aware that one of the world's biggest heists was unfolding. It's 20 past midnight, just 3 hours into the robbery, and something happens that could derail the whole operation. The gang triggers an alarm. The alarm is being monitored and the police are informed. But the police deem that they don't need to respond.
No, alarms are not that much of a deterrent. I mean, we used to do places where the alarms were going and nobody had turned up. You know you've got a certain amount of time to get out. So if the alarm went off, they may even have set off the alarm on purpose just to see what the response was.
But modern state-of-the-art alarms are incredibly sophisticated.
Is that open or is it just...
Yeah, it's only for display more than anything else. But that's the system in there.
Right, this system here, right?
You're under surveillance. Identify yourself.
It's the demo room here. We're just doing a quick demo on the intruder system.
*6. Now just say your password.
Yeah, the password.
Received. And can I be of any further help there or that?
No, that's fine, thank you.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So they're looking at us on that camera. They can hear what we're saying.
Correct.
Do you think it'll probably change the way the police...
It's not clear whether the vault at Hatton Garden has this type of system, but if they do, it's difficult to see how the robbers could have disabled it. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. The gang are so confident that they haven't been rumbled by the alarm going off that one of them is seen on CCTV around half an hour later, and then disappears for the next 7 hours to the basement, where they're dealing with the next big obstacle, drilling through the outer wall of the vault. These crime scene photos released just this week show us exactly how the gang got through the wall.
Hiya, I'm Declan.
So how difficult is it to drill through reinforced concrete?
What I need you to do today, right, is drill me one of these, exactly like that.
Okay.
We've got the same drill, making an identical hole, and even a team of 6, just like the robbers.
So I'm going to start the clock, and you start the drilling.
Okay.
And we're off.
The noise is nowhere near as loud as you might expect, and so I reckon if they're in the basement, people up on the street are not going to hear this. It's not surprising that nobody noticed.
At first the drill is whizzing through the concrete, but every time it meets the steel reinforcements inside, it slows down dramatically. But finally, we're through.
Hey, excellent. So, 1 hour 13 there?
The next 2 holes are much quicker. And we're done. The same sized hole drilled by the robbers.
That is 2 hours and 19 minutes. So we've had lots of reporting saying that they would have been drilling for 6 or 8 hours, or even that they had to drill the second night they came back, but no, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So what does that mean for our timeline?
I estimate the gang would have been in the vault within just a few hours of getting into the lift shaft. This was like a military operation. John Jones is a former flying squad detective who has investigated some of Britain's biggest heists.
It was a sort of classic heist, highly well planned, loads of cheek, presumably great profits, and it really took me back to the old days when professional criminals used to do these kind of things rather than what they tend to do these days, which is sell large quantities of dangerous drugs.
Thanks for meeting me.
Dave Courtney is a former South London gangster.
So I like
Welcome to the castle and all that.
He lives in a semi-detached castle in Plumstead, close to where he grew up.
Well, so it
He's
is.
agreed to give me his take on the gang who pulled this off.
I can understand people going, oh, it's very KGB, it's very Eastern Bloc military trained, you know, like Mission Impossible. There's not many criminals think it's a Russian firm.
The criminals think it's an English
No,
firm?
yeah, the criminals, yeah, there's not many.
It's incredibly ballsy and audacious to be there.
That's what that sort of criminal is about. It is incredibly ballsy and gutsy and risky, and me and you ain't prepared to do that, and there is some people that would. That's the difference between them and you, my friend.
And it seems there's another crucial difference between me and the robbers, or at least some of them.
What do you think? I don't know, it's going to be tight, isn't it? Okay, there's just no way. Like, there's just absolutely no way I'm going through this. My shoulders are just too broad.
Time for somebody a bit slimmer to have a crack.
Yeah. You're through. Well done. Here. That was great. So it's possible. I'm just too big. But you look on the CCTV, and at least 2 or 3 of those guys are, you know, bigger, sturdier guys. Maybe my size or even bigger. So they didn't all go into the vault. So the police should be looking on the CCTV for the ones who are leaner, thinner. They're the ones who were in the vault.
Irrelevant. I was found not guilty.
Different members of the team would have been recruited to do different jobs.
So what happens there? I mean, but knowing the criminal underworld here as you do, there's enough people with that kind of...
Of course, yeah. Once there's enough people, no, it's not with that much. It's that. It's if you have enough money, you can buy the skills. You can more or less Google it.
So how does that work then? Do you just find someone and you say, I'm going to give you...
There's the black web zone. You can go and get mercenaries to go and fight a war for you in another country. It ain't hard.
Just on the dark web, basically?
Oh, of course. So that's as simple as that.
Now, the last thing at this point, standing between you and your loot, are these. These are standard safety deposit boxes. So, I don't have a clue how to open one of these, but I have a few tools here, and I'm going to give it a crack and see how solid they are. It's starting to... Well, it's just the plastic now. Yeah, that's starting to come. I thought I'd just opened it, but what I've done is taken off the metal casing on the outside. I'm nearly there. I'm going to try and knock the lock back a bit more. Yay! So, roughly 5 minutes. But I'll continue on and see if I get quicker with these ones.
The team that went in there were labourers.
Labourers?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they've done the heavy work. They do the donkey work. There's someone above them and puts the team together. I mean, they could be on a flat fee. The problem with that is, if you're on a flat fee, is that once you see how much you have stolen, some people start getting a bit bitter and twisted, and that could lead to their downfall. I would say they're probably on a percentage. I always used to work it that way when I was working. Even the driver got a percentage, and that way nobody's bitter because they're all getting a share.
Now that is quick. Like that's... These boxes are not hugely secure. Like you're getting in there maybe 30 or 40 seconds. Why not just open every box in the place if you can do this?
The crime scene pictures seem to show the doors of the boxes still on their hinges, so the robbers probably used drills which could have been even quicker. It's Good Friday. After working for nearly 11 hours through the night, the gang leaves the building at 8:05 a.m. For the next 2 days, the robbery scene lies undiscovered. Incredibly, the gang then returns on Saturday night to plunder more safe deposit boxes.
Did it surprise you that they went back the second time?
Not at all, no. That's typical of criminals, really. I mean, I've done it myself. If you go past the job the next day and you're watching the news and there's nothing about it on the news, and when you pass by it still looks the same as the way you left it, you're going to take a chance to go back in. It's too tempting.
Really? So the old adage about returning to the scene of the crime, that's precisely...
It's nonsense. I've done it myself on several occasions.
You go back in again?
Oh, yeah. If it's still cool, you go back in and see what you can get.
At 6:30 a.m. on Easter Sunday, the gang leaves the building for the last time. After all their hard work, they only opened 72 of the 999 safe deposit boxes. But why not go for more? After all, other boxes could have contained jewels worth millions. And I'm not alone in thinking that's odd. Former gangster Dave Courtney has his own theory.
They spend all this time getting into the vault, and then they open like 72 boxes, and there's nearly 1,000 boxes there.
They might have known what 72 to get, and you've got to do all that to go and hide what it was.
Right, so it could literally be one box?
Of course, it could be one box.
At some level, you reckon this was an inside job? At some level?
Obviously, there is some kind of inside out, however trivial, 100,000,000%. Someone had to help them somewhere with it, without a doubt.
And when you consider the value of some of the diamonds stolen, that theory starts to gain credibility. I've just met a Hatton Garden diamond dealer who says he lost over 200 jewels in the heist, totalling nearly £500,000. He doesn't want to be identified, but he's given me some very interesting documents.
Now, these are certificates of authenticity for some of the stones which are now out there on the black market, and the values involved are staggering. He lost a pair of diamonds that together were worth £40,000. He lost one 4-carat diamond. That one stone is worth £60,000. But he also told me something else very interesting. Until just a few days before this robbery, he was holding a diamond in that very deposit box, which was worth £300,000. He says he took it out just in time, and he believes that the reason so few boxes were opened is because the diamond thieves had intelligence from the international diamond market about which dealers in Hatton Garden had the most expensive stones, and they went for those boxes.
That's just one of many theories floating around Hatton Garden at the moment. But when it comes to talking openly about this crime, this district remains a closed shop. Over the past few weeks, I've been trying time and again to make contact with one of the owners and directors of the vault, a man called Manish Bhavishi. I just want to ask him about why he hasn't been in touch with the customers who we've spoken to. He's been running the company for the last 8 years. I tried calling him. Whoever answers claims not to be him and says they don't know where he is. I tried contacting him on social media and called to an address where we were told he stayed. And I'm certainly not the only one looking to speak to Manish Bhavishi. The safe deposit box holders that I've spoken to have all told me they haven't heard from him since the robbery. Only one of them was willing to talk to me, but only if we hid his identity.
How much contact have you had with the company itself, the Hatton Garden Safety Deposit Company?
We haven't heard anything, and that is actually making it look bad for them.
What do you mean by that?
Well, obviously, they should be here supporting us and supporting their business.
Where is Manish, right? Because I speak to people here who say he's abroad. I speak to people abroad who say he's here. Have you any idea where he is?
I've not heard of him being around anymore, so you would expect that he would come back.
Do people find it odd that he hasn't been more visible, that they haven't seen him?
I think disappointed is not a word.
Disappointed is quite an understatement. I mean, a lot of people want to talk to Manish Bhavishi now. We've spoken to the police. They say they've spoken to him. That's all they'll say. But the question is, where is he? I mean, where is he? Manish's father is also a director of the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company and the majority shareholder. His name is Mahendra Bhavishi and he lives in Khartoum, Sudan. We contacted him there and he agreed to an interview with me over the phone.
What's your name? Sorry?
It's Declan Lawn from BBC Television.
Yeah, nice to hear you, Mr. Bratton.
Where is Manish now?
Definitely Manish is there in the UK. I have been trying to call him. I myself couldn't speak with him.
When was the last time then that you saw your son or spoke to him? Was it
before he left to London, my dear?
So that was just a few days after the robbery?
Yeah, only a few days after the robbery, definitely.
Do you find it odd that you haven't been able to contact him since?
Well, I know the situation he is in, Mr. Brown, and I'm sure after he finishes with all this hassle, he will call me.
People are saying that this was an inside job, that maybe somebody...
Well, I don't think so, Mr. Brown, but of course, I don't know how they got the information, but I don't think that would be the case.
Remarkably, when I spoke to him, he said the police hadn't been in touch with him about the heist.
You would imagine that the police would speak to everybody who had a high-profile role.
Doesn't matter if they like, they can speak with me.
Yes, you're willing to speak with them?
Oh, definitely. If the police ask me, definitely I'm willing to speak with them. Why not?
It's now almost 3 weeks since the police started their investigation. An investigation which began 2 days after the gang disappeared with their loot. And because they robbed the most secretive part of a secretive trade, no one will ever know for sure how much they got away with. But it's certainly an amount that will be staggering, even to them. I'm in Southampton, catching up one last time with Razor.
You learn something every day, eh?
I want to know what happens to loot after the getaway.
Be taken to a slaughter where it'll be chopped up and parcelled.
A slaughter?
Yeah, that's where they chop up the loot. It's a criminal expression. And then the loot will be broken down into small parcels and given to people who probably won't know what's in it, just be paid a fee to go on the ferries.
What, with like a bag of jewels?
Yeah.
Is that not a bit risky?
They don't even count people out of the countries, let alone check anybody.
But there are other ways of doing it.
The criminal mindset that comes up with these ingenious crimes and ways of getting stuff out of the country.
They could actually do this. A racehorse, up a racehorse's arse and go like that. You can put that many times.
People have done that?
Millions of people have done that.
So people have stuck jewels up a horse's bum to get it out of the country?
Very much so, yeah. Hundreds and hundreds.
After everything I've learnt over the last few weeks, I now have a very good understanding of how the gang pulled this heist off. From abseiling, to drilling, to opening safe deposit boxes. But the one question we all still have is, will they get away with it?
And you don't think they will get away with it?
I think they've got a very, very hard job. The amount of money that is going to be offered to be an informant.
So if the reward's big enough, there'll be someone in the underworld who say,
100%.
Yeah. So somebody always talks?
Somebody always talks. But the criminals get jealous. They know what somebody's done and they haven't got any, so they'll tell their friend who will tell a police officer.
Walking off into the sunset with tens of millions of pounds of other people's money is not an easy thing to do. And I think over the last couple of weeks I've come to understand in many ways how they did it. Why they did it is easy. Will they get away with it? Well, that's anyone's guess. But if they do, they have got close to the perfect crime.